You didn't suddenly become anxious for no reason. You didn't just wake up one morning feeling heavier, more restless, more uncomfortable in your own life by accident. No, what you're feeling right now isn't weakness. It isn't confusion. And it definitely isn't you losing your way. It's something deeper. It's what happens when the life you've been living can no longer contain the person you're becoming. And if you stay with me till the end, you'll understand why this feeling might actually be the most important turning point of your life. Because there is always a quiet moment, right before a soul changes direction, a moment no one talks about, a moment where everything that once felt familiar starts to feel wrong, where the things that used to comfort you don't reach you anymore, where the life that once made sense suddenly feels out of place. And here's the truth most people miss. That moment is not the breakdown. It's the beginning. And that moment is exactly where you are right now. So hear this gently, without fear, and without pressure. You are not feeling this way to be punished. You are being invited into something greater. Because for too long, you've been trying to fit your evolving spirit into spaces that were designed for an older version of you. You've been shrinking your truth so others could stay comfortable. You've been carrying expectations, responsibilities, emotional weight that were never meant to follow you into your next chapter. And deep down, your soul knows it. That's why rest doesn't feel like rest anymore. That's why distractions don't distract you like they used to. That's why even your happiest moments feel slightly incomplete, like something is missing, but you can't quite name it. Let me say this clearly. You are not broken. You are being redirected. There is a higher path calling you. But here's the thing. It doesn't shout. It whispers, it nudges, it unsettles you just enough that you can't ignore it forever. And this path, it doesn't always look impressive from the outside. Sometimes it looks like loss. Sometimes it feels like loneliness. Sometimes it appears as everything falling apart before anything can come together. But what it carries is something your old life could never give you. Alignment. You were never meant to live on autopilot. You were never meant to simply survive your days. You were never meant to numb yourself just to get through life. And that's exactly why comfort had to stop feeling comfortable. Because the universe doesn't force growth. It creates friction. It allows the anxiety, the restlessness, the dissatisfaction to rise. Not to harm you, but to wake you up. Think about it. If everything stayed easy, you would stay small. If everything stayed familiar, you would never discover what you're truly capable of. And choosing a higher path, it almost never feels safe in the beginning. It asks you to walk forward without guarantees, to release identities you worked so hard to build, to let go of relationships, habits, even dreams that once made sense, but now feel heavy in your hands. That's why your heart feels torn lately. Part of you wants certainty, but another part of you knows that certainty has become a cage. And here's a truth most people don't hear until much later in life. Destiny doesn't arrive wrapped in comfort. It arrives disguised as disruption. The higher path doesn't ask if you're ready. It asks one simple question. Are you willing? Willing to trust without seeing the full picture. Willing to be misunderstood for a season. Willing to walk away from what looks good on the surface, but feels empty underneath. That's why your old coping mechanisms aren't working anymore. That's why distractions feel hollow. That's why forcing yourself to just be grateful doesn't quiet the ache inside you, because you're being prepared for something that requires your full presence. And preparation often feels like dismantling. You may have been questioning yourself lately, wondering why life feels heavier, even when you're trying to do everything right, why growth feels lonely, why choosing integrity sometimes feels like choosing pain. But higher paths demand higher honesty. They strip away what no longer aligns with who you're becoming. They remove illusions. They ask you to stand alone long enough to finally hear your own truth. And yes, that can feel terrifying, but you are not alone, even when it feels like it. Because timing, divine timing, doesn't rush. It doesn't explain itself. It meets you exactly where your readiness meets your calling. That's why certain doors haven't opened yet. Not because you weren't worthy, not because you weren't ready enough, but because those doors were never meant to lead you where your soul is going. That's why some prayers felt unanswered, not ignored, not forgotten, just redirected towards something you couldn't see yet. And that's why you've been held in this waiting season longer than you ever expected, longer than you ever wanted. I know it felt frustrating. I know it felt confusing, maybe even unfair at times. But hear this clearly now. You were never being denied. You were being shaped quietly, patiently, in ways that don't always make sense in the moment. Because there are lessons you could only learn through endurance. Not shortcuts, not comfort, but endurance. There is a kind of strength that can only be built through uncertainty, the kind that doesn't come from knowing the outcome, but from continuing anyway. And there is a depth of wisdom that only arrives when you choose faith, even when logic runs out, even when nothing around you seems to support your belief. And the truth is, you did that. Even when you were tired, you kept going. Even when you were scared, you didn't stop. Even when you felt completely unseen, unheard, and unappreciated, you still held on. You still showed up. You still believed, if only by a thread. And that quiet perseverance, that invisible strength no one clapped for, no one noticed, no one celebrated, it matters more than you think. In fact, it changed you. And this is where everything begins to shift. Right here, right now. The anxiety you've been feeling lately, that restlessness, that tension in your chest, it isn't a warning of failure. It's not telling you something is going wrong. It's the final tension before release, like the moment before a storm breaks, like the inhale before a deep exhale. Something is about to move because you are standing at the edge of a completely new version of your life, a version that will ask more from you, more truth, more courage, more honesty with yourself than you've ever allowed before. It will ask you to let go, to trust more deeply, to surrender control in ways that may feel uncomfortable at first. And yes, that can feel overwhelming. But in return, this path will give you something far deeper than comfort ever could. Not temporary relief, not surface-level happiness, but meaning, real meaning. The kind that anchors you, the kind that grounds you, the kind that fills the spaces inside you that comfort could never reach. Because meaning doesn't just make you feel better, it transforms you. It heals parts of you that comfort was only covering. And slowly, gently, without force, you'll begin to notice it. Not all at once, not in some dramatic overnight transformation, but in subtle, powerful shifts. Your reactions will soften. The things that once triggered you won't have the same power anymore. Your clarity will sharpen. You'll start seeing people, situations, and choices for what they truly are. And your tolerance for anything that drains you, disrespects you, or pulls you out of alignment will quietly disappear. You won't feel the need to explain yourself as much anymore. You won't feel the urge to prove your worth to people who don't see it. And slowly, almost without realizing it, you'll stop chasing validation in places that were never meant to give it to you. Instead, you'll start choosing peace, even when it feels unfamiliar, even when it costs you relationships, habits, or environments you once held onto. And when that moment comes, you'll know. Not because someone told you, but because you'll feel it deep within you. You said yes. Yes to growth, over comfort. Yes to alignment, over approval. Yes to trust, over control. And understand this. You didn't earn this transformation by being perfect. Not at all. You earned it in the moments no one saw, by staying true when it would have been easier to give up, by choosing kindness when bitterness felt justified, by listening to that quiet inner voice, even when the world around you was louder. That's what brought you here. That's why this message found you at this exact moment, not randomly, not by chance, but because something within you is ready to go deeper, ready to rise higher, ready to step into something real, something aligned, something true. So before you scroll away, Before you return to the noise of everyday life, pause, just for a moment, take a breath, and make this your declaration, slowly, intentionally, like you truly mean it. I trust the timing of my life, and I choose my higher path. Say it again, if you need to. Let it settle within you. Let it become a promise, not just words. A promise to trust, even when you don't understand. A promise to move forward, even when it feels uncertain. Let that be your signal to the universe, to your path, to yourself. And if there's someone in your life right now, take a moment and really think about them. Someone who's been a little quieter lately, someone who smiles, but not the way they used to. Someone who says, "I'm fine," but you can feel that they're not. Someone who feels lost, anxious, or like they're slowly, silently outgrowing everything around them. Send this to them. Not because you have all the answers, not because you know exactly what they're going through, but because sometimes the reminder we need most isn't advice. It isn't solutions. It isn't someone telling us what to do next. It's connection. It's presence. It's that quiet, powerful feeling of knowing. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Because when someone is in that space, when they're questioning everything, when they're carrying emotions they don't even have words for yet, what helps isn't being fixed. It's being understood. It's being seen without judgment. It's being felt without explanation. It's knowing that somewhere out there, someone else has stood in this same place, felt this same confusion, and made it through. Because the truth is, you are not alone. Not in your confusion, not in your anxiety, not in your quiet moments of doubt. You never were. Even in the moments where it felt like no one understood you, even in the nights where your thoughts felt too heavy to carry, you were still being held, still being guided, still being led, step by step, even if you couldn't see it. And yes, higher paths are rarely crowded. They don't come with constant reassurance. They don't come with everyone clapping for you, or even understanding you. Sometimes, they feel isolating. Sometimes, they feel like you're walking alone in a direction no one else can see yet, and that can feel lonely. It can feel like you're leaving parts of your life behind before you fully understand what you're walking toward. But even in that loneliness, you are never unsupported. You are guided in ways that don't always make noise, in ways that don't always show up the way you expect, through intuition, through quiet nudges, through moments of clarity that arrive at just the right time, through doors closing and others opening in ways that slowly begin to make sense, even if you can't connect the dots yet. And one day, you will look back at this version of yourself, the one who felt uncertain, the one who felt stretched, uncomfortable, unsure, and you'll realize you weren't falling apart, you were being led forward. So hear this again, slowly, and let it land. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not missing your chance. You're not stuck. And you're definitely not lost. You are in transition. You are in becoming. You are in the middle of a shift that is quietly preparing you for what's next. And right now, even if it doesn't feel like it, you are exactly where your next step begins. Not 5 steps ahead, not somewhere else entirely. Here, in this moment, in this version of you. And this time, you're not stepping forward out of pressure, or fear, or the need to prove something. This time, you're stepping forward with awareness, with truth, with a deeper understanding of who you are, and what no longer belongs in your life. And even if your voice shakes, even if your steps feel small, you're ready. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've grown, because you've endured, because something inside you has finally said, I can't stay the same anymore. And that is where everything changes. So take the step, even if it's quiet, even if no one else notices right away, because this path, it was always yours. And now, you're finally ready to walk it.